The year is 2024. A nation holds its breath. In a country as vast and diverse as the United States, the presidential election remains one of the most defining moments of our democracy. Campaigns rage, voices are heard, and history is made. But have you ever stopped to wonder where it all began? To understand the weight of today's elections, we must travel back in time. Back to a moment when the very idea of electing a leader was an untested experiment. A time when the United States itself was little more than a bold dream. Let us journey to the first election, the moment it all began. It was the late 18th century. The colonies, once bound by the chains of British rule, had broken free, carving out a fragile new identity, a fledgling republic teetering on the edge of uncertainty. With independence came questions. How would this new nation govern itself? Who would lead it? And so, the idea of a presidential election was born. The story begins with the Constitution of 1787, a monumental document that didn't just outline laws but set the stage for something unprecedented, the peaceful transfer of power. The framers of the Constitution believed that the people, ordinary citizens like you and me, should have a say in choosing their leader. But let me tell you, the first presidential election wasn't anything like what we know today. It was 1788. Only 10 of the 13 states had ratified the Constitution in time to participate. There were no political parties, no televised debates, no campaign rallies. Instead, electors were chosen by state legislatures or by the people, depending on the state. These electors would cast their votes for president. And who did they choose? None other than George Washington, the man who had led the Continental Army to victory in the Revolutionary War, a hero admired for his humility, integrity, and unwavering dedication to the cause of liberty. But why him? Why George Washington? Let's dig deeper into the man behind the myth. Born in 1732 in Virginia, Washington was a man of the land, a farmer at heart. But history had other plans. His military acumen during the French and Indian War caught the attention of his peers, and during the American Revolution, he became the indispensable leader, guiding the Continental Army through the darkest days of the war. After victory, he did something extraordinary. He walked away. He resigned his commission, returning to his farm, refusing the temptation of power. But the nation couldn't let him rest. At the Constitutional Convention, Washington's steady presence lent credibility to the proceedings. When it came time to choose a leader for this new experiment in democracy, there was no debate. Washington was the unanimous choice, the only president in U.S. history to receive 100% of the electoral votes. On April 30, 1789, George Washington took the oath of office on the balcony of Federal Hall in New York City, the nation's first capital. He was 57 years old, and the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. How do you lead a nation that's never been led before? For Washington, the answer was clear. With humility, restraint, and a profound sense of duty. Washington's presidency wasn't just about governing, it was about setting the tone. He established the cabinet system, refused to align with any political faction, and most importantly, he chose to step down after 2 terms, cementing the tradition of peaceful transitions of power. This single decision safeguarded the republic from tyranny. Today, we honor George Washington in countless ways. His face graces our currency. His name is etched in the very capital of our nation, and his legacy lives on in the principles of democracy he helped define. But beyond the statues and the stories, his greatest contribution is something intangible, the example he set for leaders to come. So, who won the first election? It was George Washington, a man who didn't seek power but wielded it with wisdom and grace. A man whose leadership wasn't about himself but about the future of a nation. And that's a legacy worth remembering. But this is just the beginning of our journey through the history of U.S. elections. What stories from the past intrigue you the most? The formation of political parties? The first major election scandal? Or perhaps the evolution of voting rights? Let me know in the comments below. Your curiosity will shape the next chapter of this series. Until then, Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.